Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second part. My name is Daniel, and in this tutorial, I'm going to be working on the nose. Last time we worked on the eye, and if you haven't watched that, you could just check the link in the description. I'll put that down there. I'm going to be working on the nose, and as you can see, I've already gone ahead and added the cube. It's nothing fancy, just the cube with a loop cut in the middle, and then I pushed it out just so um, we can have something that is not totally flat. Yeah, so we can jump right in and start sculpting. So I'm gonna head straight into sculpt mode. Make sure I turn on symmetry, and then I'm just going to get the clay strips. The shortcut I use is D. You could assign whatever you like. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to roughly block out the shape of the entire nose. That's the root, the tip, and the wings. Just get a rough shape. Let's just imagine that this was a face, and then begin to put stuff that looks like an eye socket. We're not going to work on that. Let's just have that as a visual aid. So just going to block that out. Just scrape this mesh away, and then I'm going to use the grab brush and pull out the tip of the nose. I'm gonna keep pulling, looking at the other reference, the other views. Just gonna keep pulling, and then go back to the clay strips. Just block out. I block out, I smoothen it out as well. What I'm trying to do here is just to get the entire shape of the nose first before we can go into details. I'm going to use the crease brush and crease this area, which is where it depresses and then goes deeper into the head. Then I'm going to pull this up. I think I'm going to add some mesh over here, so you could have something that looks like the wings of the nose. Yeah, and then right after that, I'm going to reference the planes of the nose. I have a reference on my screen, so I'm just going to use the scrape brush and just scrape out this area. So I'm trying to get the rough shape of the nose without even going into details just yet. So I keep scraping, and then a bit at the top too. Okay. Then I use the grab brush and just pull this back based on the references that I have. So it's always a good idea for you to use references. I'm going to use the clay brush. Just slightly begin to work on the tip of the nose. You could imagine this to be like a ball shape. It's actually like a ball shape anyway, so just going to add that flesh over there. Then I'm going to use the grab brush and just shift this, pull it up a bit. So I'll keep slightly adding mesh around that area and moving around the model and just pushing it out, so we can get the tip of the nose looking more defined than the rest for now. I'm not going to worry about details now. We're just trying to get something that looks good, something that sets the form and the structure right. Keep pulling and then pull this bit down just a bit. By the way, if you do not know how to get this quad view, just hit Ctrl Alt Q and you will have that like this. Okay, that helps. Now I'm going to slightly use the crease now and just get these areas. Increase the wing of the nose. Not too much yet. Just trying to figure stuff out at this early stage. So we're kind of getting something that looks close. And then I'm going to pull this down just a bit. And I'm going to use, you could use the clay strips, you could use the clay. I like to use the Sculpt draw. Shortcut is X, and just begin to, oh boy, just begin to pull this. Alright, sorry about that noise, I apologize. Alright, so I'm going to use the X, the Sculpt draw. Shortcut is X, and just begin to block out the nostrils. Now I like to think of them as kind of having almost I could say a teardrop shape. So you could have the ends a bit widened, and then you can have the tip tapering, tapering as it gets to the top. That's how I like to think of the nostrils. So I'll keep using the Sculpt draw to create that. And just use the crease for this area too. Alright. I'm going to use the clay, the scrape brush and establish those planes again. Dividing the ball from the top part to the bottom part, and then I'm just going to keep scraping according to the reference I have. Sculpting the nose, as every other part, it involves lots of pulling with the grab brush. Then from there we could use the smooth brush to smoothen out some areas. Go back, use the clay brush, and add some flesh around the nose, around the tip, and all of that. So it's a lot of back and forth, and just so you keep observing the shape, and then once you are happy with what you have, you could move to the next step. I'll use the grab brush, and just at this line I'm going to slightly pull it up. So I'm sculpting using the planes of the nose. I find it very easy to break it down and get a very appealing form before you could even think of going into so much details. So I'm just going to slightly pull that up a bit. It's all about looking at the reference and trying to use the brushes you have, use the tools you have to match what is in the reference as best as possible. Get something believable. I'm going to use the clay and just add lump of flesh over here. Like that. And just bring this down. Then I'm going to add some flesh over here as well. Later on, I could go back and reestablish that crease line. So it's, as I said before, it's back and forth. So we keep looking at all the sides. That's why I have my quad view. It's really helpful. Keep looking at all the sides and you keep adjusting. Okay. So I'm going to use the script brush again and just underneath the ball over here, I'm going to script this area. I want to get a bit of angular shape to the ball of the nose, so that's what I'm trying to do. Switching back to the clay, adding some flesh, and then back to the script. I script that out to make the edge a bit sharper than that, and then just keep using the script brush and then keep establishing the shapes until you like what you see. Right now I'm going to use the multi-plane script. It's just under the script brush, the multi-plane script, and I'm going to hold shift so it inverts the function, and I'm going to work on that area and get the ball of the shape of the ball of the nose, the tip of the nose that I'm going for. It all depends on the reference that you are using, so we don't need to do this. All depends on the reference. I'm back to the crease brush, using that now. Also watching the front view so it doesn't look awkward. I think I'm going to pull this back a bit and then use the pinch brush to get these places, get these areas together. Then back to the clay. That's something like that, yeah. I'm going to use the script brush and script this area. Trying to re-establish those planes again. At this point, I'll just speed up the video a bit while I keep working on the mesh. But before that, just so you know, when you're sculpting the nose, as you sculpt anything, you start with the very rough shape, as we started with the rough shape of the entire nose, and then you now begin to add some key areas of that part of the body. So in this case, we have the ridge of the nose, of course, and then you have the tip and then the wings. So you could use that and begin to block out the nose, and then from there you could do lots of variations. I could pull this up you know, have a bit more of a different kind of nose. I could pull this down. It's different. I could push this out. Do lots of things. I could spread the wings of the nose a bit more, and you're getting different variations of the nose. So keep that in mind, and also try to look up references of planes of the nose, which is what basically it's what is the foundation of this tutorial. Yeah. So I'm going to speed this up while I continue working. All right, I worked on the model and polished it, got it to a point where I like, and I'm going to stop here. Just before we, just before I end the video, remember as you're sculpting, start big, start with big shapes. Look out for references that show the planes of the in this context, the nose, or it could be whatever you basically whatever you are working on. If there are no references for that, try to do that in your mind and just break down the concept or the reference, break it down into simple shapes that you can begin to lay out before trying to refine the mesh. Don't just jump in and try to get those fine details. And then in addition to that, you could also try to sculpt variations of the nose. I did a couple before I started this video. Did a couple of them over here, so you could also do stuff like that. Look at references and try out different shapes of the nose, and basically just have fun and keep practicing. Make sure as you practice you get feedback on your sculpts, and then you're well on your way. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, leave a like, share the video, subscribe, tell me what you think. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you, and bye bye.